Hey guys, when I say Final Fantasy XIV is the best MMORPG I've ever played, as well as, I believe, the best MMORPG currently on the market, I do not do so lightly. I put about 1,800 hours into this game. I've done the entire MSQ, I've done PvP, I've done all the Blue Cross questlines I could find, trials, raids, whatevers, right? And I loved it. And we're gonna talk about why. You see, this game is one of the very few games that I've played, the other one being Elden Ring, which I feel is getting progressively better. Like, you start at some point, all the way back in ARR, the story is engaging, the soundtrack, the ambience around you is really, really good, but slowly and surely you will move towards the end where you just lose your mind, right? If we're gonna talk about this game as its entirety, we will have to break it down, I believe, in three main pillars, one of which being sound, the other two being gameplay and story. And when I say story, I'm not gonna talk about story only as in the MSQ, but we're gonna talk about the story of the world, of Eorzea, of the first of Theris, if you will. Starting with sound, I will keep it brief and say that the sound of this game is a 9.5, if not a 10 out of 10. With songs like Scream, with songs like Rise, like Answers all the way back from ARR, with themes like Ravana, with themes like the whale, I don't remember the whale's name, yes, you know, the one in Heavensward. The musical team of Final Fantasy XIV never fails to deliver. You go in there, what do you want? Good ambience? Okay, you go out there, you start with Lim Salominsa, the ambience is engaging, you get to be this newbie, this adventurer. The music, the sound, everything makes you feel like a newbie. Then you go into Ultima Thule, for example, right? And you start with Dead Silence, okay? As the stakes are revealed, as the story progresses, you are met with the lyrics at the end of that saga, which I will not go into too much details as I want this to be relatively spoiler friendly. The sound theme of Final Fantasy XIV is what I believe to be the best sound theme I have ever experienced in a single game in its total. Okay? Like, they know how to handle ambience, always. They know how to handle sounds, the impact. The only criticism that I would have, mind you, is the moaning. The moaning. I don't understand why my character, every single time she attacks someone, because I mean a paladin, yes, she has to moan. I find it a bit off-putting, yes? But musically, ambiently, it's not a word, I made it into a word, okay? The dialogue, the voice acting, everything that has to do with sound is a 9.5, if not. I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I will not because, 10 out of 10 being perfection, I don't want like underplay perfection. Also, I believe that maybe this would like inspire people to do even better. I don't know, I'm being silly. Gameplay. How can I describe gameplay? It started as terrible. It's my fault. It's my fault. I started as a thaumaturge back in Ul'dah, and it was a bad decision. So I burned out and I restarted as a summoner in Lim Salominsa, and like an arcanist before the remake, mind you, okay? And I loved it. It was much better. When I stopped playing my paladin at the end of Endwalker, it was my favorite job. When I started playing Gladiator back in ARR, it was my least favorite tanking job. Where am I going with this? They progressively made it better. They took a combat that felt slow and sluggish, and I could go out and say it, boring, into something truly immersive, engaging, and exciting. When I played the Paladin back then, I felt like a boring guy. I felt like a warrior with a sword and a shield, and that was it. When I played the Paladin in Heavensward, there were a little bit of extra stuff. And then comes the Requiescat phase. I don't remember if it was Stormblood or if it was Shadowbringers, but you finally get to do spells. You finally get to have a melee to spell rotation. And Endwalker comes and blows it out of proportion. If I were to judge the gameplay of this game, I would give this an 8 out of 10 because I do have a few criticisms. Even though I believe that it constantly became better, Reaper being an example of my favorite melee DPS, I was certain that I was gonna love Samurai and I would stay with Samurai as my main ult. Turns out that was not the case. Reaper just earned me, visually, aesthetically, flowily, the flow the class plays, the impact of every attack, and so on and so forth. I do have to keep it to an 8 out of 10 because I do feel that there is a little bit of clunkiness. Maybe I'm biased. I come from World of Warcraft, I have an experience of 15 years. Say what you will about WoW, and trust me, I have a lot to say about WoW, okay? However, they nailed the combat, and that's something that Blizzard really does well. The flow of the combat feels good. It feels immersive. It feels engaging. Final Fantasy XIV is getting there, but I feel that it has a bit extra to go through if they're gonna reach this, which is why 8, if not 8.5 out of 10. Story. Everybody judges the story, everybody talks about the story, and they all talk about the MSQ. But what about the Blue Cross questlines? What about the optional stuff? What about the implementation of Crystal Tower back in ARR and how it, fitted the entire saga of Shadowbringers? What about when you do stuff like the Four Lords in Stormblood, you get extra cutscenes and extra cinematics during that one big cinematic, actually, in Endwalker? What if you do Omega in Stormblood? Hey, you know what? You get an extra quest in Endwalker. Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about the additions. Nobody talks about the Ether Currents, that they're not just a silly, goofy quest, okay? No, it matters because it teaches you two important things. At least that's how I perceived it. The MSQ is the Zero to Hero challenge. It's a masterpiece. It's amazing, okay? ARR, everybody talks smack about it. It's good. Heavensward, I forgot. Stormblood, amazing. It's one of my favorite expansions. Shadowbringer, phenomenal. And Endwalker, other than the 50%, the first 50%, which made me, I'll be honest, I'll say it, I was bored, okay? The last 50%, it all came together. You know the Kronk meme? Oh yeah, it's all coming together. That's exactly what they did. I'm not going to delve deep into the MSQ. It's phenomenal. You know what? If you're gonna buy this game, if you're gonna play this game, and you do it only for the story and for nothing else, it's worth it. But there's more. You see, the Blue Cross questlines do the perfect additions. It's not only that they further enrich and they add further flavor into the already magnificent MSQ by what I mentioned before, but no, you see, they teach you the adventurer perspective. Sure, you're this hero, you're the savior, okay? You're like, I don't know, like Jesus or something, okay? But what about the world around you? If you go out there and you do those Blue Cross questlines, you get to see not only how you impact the world, but how the world is impacted by you. Wait, is this the same thing? No, it's the POV. It's the POV. When you're the hero and you slay the beast, you look the reactions of those around you. But what of the aftermath? What happens after you're done? What happens after you move to the next zone? What happened, for example, to Thavner after the big battery? Yes? How did people recover from this? How did people recover during this? Yes? The important part, and I cannot stress this enough, is the intertwining, the intermingling of the two. There has never been a point that I have done a single quest in Elpis, and I have done most of them, Blue Cross questlines and normal quests included, but I didn't feel that it added some sort of knowledge. An example, and a very specific example. Pandemonium is Greek. I have an entire video saga, well, not video saga, but more like a video and a second video about Ardistis, okay? In my profile. It's all based in ancient Greek mythos. I'm certain that this is not the only time that they have done this. I'm Greek. I saw the Greek references to the Greek parts, yes? I believe that the bosses that we fought in Tower of Zod, if I recall correctly, they were from Hindu or Persian lore or whatever. One of these nationalities will be able to explain this to you. Everything that they add comes from somewhere, and it is presented in a way so good that you are actually doing yourself a disservice if you don't go out there open-minded with a desire to learn. Erechthonius. Who is Erechthonius? He was a king of ancient Athens. What is the story behind him? Oh wait, he was a demigod. Oh wait, he was the son of Hephaestus in actual ancient Greek. Check out my video. Trust me on this, okay? Everything comes together. Iemon, it's not a coincidence of that name, okay? The only name that I found to be a coincidence was Esperos, which means evening, right? Everything in Pandemonium, everything in Elpis, everything in the game comes together. Honestly, guys, it's very rarely that I can go out there and publicly say that I found the best game of the genre. I hope the success of Final Fantasy XIV further pushes MMORPGs to be, more played and more successful overall. I wish I could come out in the future and do the exact same video about World of Warcraft or ESO. Why? Because I believe that the more MMORPGs are better, the more competition there is there, the better products we, the customers, will receive. I will close this by saying that I'm very thankful for the embracing and the welcomeness of the community towards me and towards other people like me. We were refugees, at least most of us were, right? When we came here, it was such a breath of fresh air to not have to think about what to do, to not have to pre-plan what to do, to not have to decide how to grind, what to grind, and so on and so forth. It was a truly liberating feeling because, well, when you're used to carrot on a stick mechanisms for so long, you start to believe you're a donkey. And then Final Fantasy XIV comes and they take away the carrot, they take away the stick, and now you feel a human, no longer a donkey. And that's what happened to me. Every single time I've streamed Final Fantasy XIV, at the end, I felt more calm, more relaxed, and happier than when I started my stream. Sometimes I even worried, hey, you know what? Can I keep this entertaining for long enough? Are people gonna like it? What if I'm like, maybe I'm not feeling this so much? At the end of the stream, or like, well, more like 20 minutes into the stream, I find myself smiling for no reason other than, you know what, I got to finally play this lovely, lovely game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you want to subscribe and support the channel, please do so. And I'm really curious to hear it, or well, reading about the comments. How did you feel? How was 14 to you? What changed? I'm going to actually make a project in the future about how Final Fantasy XIV changed my life. I will say how I was when I started going to FF and how I was at the end of my FF journey. Well, that would be all for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.